My name is Linda. I am a professional substance abuse counselor, and I am the mother of an overdosed daughter that died in April of 2024 from methamphetamine that was laced with fentanyl. I am raising 4 of her 6 children, and today let's lean on the substance abuse counselor in me and let's talk about marijuana. So, marijuana is deemed as the safe, natural herb that doesn't hurt you. I hear people say, I don't commit crimes, I don't have bad things happen to me. Marijuana helps me, it helps me sleep, it reduces my anxiety, it helps me think better. It just makes my life better overall, and it comes out of the ground and it can't hurt you. My argument is so does opiates. Opiates come out of the ground. Methamphetamine comes out of the ground from the methamphetamine plant. If you want to get technical, alcohol comes out of the ground because that's where the barley and the herbs come from. So many things that we use today are coming up out of the ground. And they also have the argument of sometimes people tell me that this is illegal and that's legal. So is alcohol, and you can go to a doctor and you can get opiates, you can get benzos. So making it legal doesn't save you from being addicted. If it comes out of the ground, it doesn't save you from being addicted. Nothing's going to save you from getting addicted to it. Your brain knows the difference between something that's toxic for you and something that's healthy for you, like blueberries. So long-term use and daily use. And when I say daily, I want you to think about like somebody that smokes. They smoke cigarettes throughout the day, all day long. A lot of marijuana users, that's how they smoke. They smoke all throughout the day and all day long, and that's probably the most quickest way to end up with some of the negative effects of marijuana. So when I was at work yesterday, I discovered some things about it that I didn't even know, and I'm going to show you. Okay, for one, it's called cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. Now, some interesting facts, and you don't have to read my chicken scratch. I will read it for you. In 2018, 32.9% of the users had cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. And little fun fact, in 2018, a lot of states legalized it. And in 2022, it increased, and I don't know what 13-fold means. I've heard it, but I have no idea. It increased by 13-fold. So more people started developing cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, or CHS. If you stop using marijuana and you're an everyday user, here are some of the facts in 2024. If you stop using, like I smoke marijuana every day, immediately I may notice I'm nervous, angry, depressed. It's hard for me to relax. I'm tired. I have trouble sleeping, and I have poor concentration. This part I didn't know. In some cases, they can develop chills, shaking, sweating, headache, and tummy pain. But the cannabinoid hyperemesis, this is a whole different beast that I want to show. We're going to do a little bit of reading, and I'm going to read for you. It says cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, or CHS, is a cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome is caused by long-term cannabis marijuana use. Hyperemesis means severe vomiting. People who have CHS experience repeated and severe bouts of nausea, vomiting, dehydration, and stomach pain. There are 3 phases that CHS goes through. The first is nausea and vomiting, followed by long-term cannabis use that often leads the person to using more cannabis to reduce the nausea. And let me explain that a minute. So in the first stage, when they're talking about it, it's a person that's using cannabis every day, and they decide they're going to stop. And when they stop using, or prior to them stopping, and I'll go back over the literature with you in a second, but I'm going to try to explain it first. So I'm smoking marijuana every day, and I start to notice something, like I'm having trouble falling asleep at night until I smoke a joint. I'm also noticing that when I wake up in the morning, I'm feeling a little bit nauseous, like I'm going to throw up. And I'm so grateful that I have marijuana around because marijuana helps me with that nausea. And I don't know what it is that's making me nauseous in the morning, but I do know that this helps me. And I don't know what's making me so restless at night trying to sleep. It's probably just my anxiety, but the marijuana helps me. What I don't realize is that I'm in one of the first stages of developing the CHS. The nausea is a withdrawal or the early onsetting signs, and the inability to sleep is also of the same thing. So when I'm smoking a joint or I'm smoking the marijuana, what I'm doing is I'm stopping the withdrawals. So let's look back at the literature. So you have hypermetic, triggered by increased cannabinoid use, nausea, abdominal pains, and vomiting increase. So when I use, it makes it worse. And it also says using cannabis daily over a long period of time have severe and repeated nausea and vomiting after more than 5 times an hour. Often more than 5 times an hour. Experience severe pain in your stomach area. Feel relief of your symptoms after taking a hot shower. And here's some of the other things that can happen. You can get electrolyte problems in your blood, scromiting, never heard of that before, but it's screaming and vomiting at the same time, permanent tooth enamel, and that's because you're vomiting continuously. This is something that I did not know. Rare complications, muscle spasm or weakness, seizures, heart rhythmia, kidney failures, shock, and in rare cases, brain swelling. So basically, what this says is that when you're using over a long period of time, these symptoms start to slowly creep in, and when you try to stop, you develop the cannabinoid hypermimesis syndrome. In the course of my career, I have met many people, and I have heard stories. First, I heard the cannabinoid hypermimesis. I heard of it, I don't know, I'm going to say maybe 8-9 years ago. I heard of it, and I did see it, but I didn't see it often. And that's because not a lot of people at that time were smoking marijuana like they are today, because there's so much going around about how it's the safe thing to do. So a lot of people are trying to transition from what they call a hard drug, like I talked about yesterday, into marijuana, and they're trying to not drink or do something else, and they're just smoking marijuana throughout the whole day. And so now we're seeing more people developing CHS. And the first person that I saw develop it, he had it for about 2 months. And I watched him get dark circles under his eyes. He was losing weight. He was looking like death warmed over. And he was already a very thin guy, very tall guy. And he was restless. He could not sit down. He couldn't sit still. He ended up going back to marijuana use because he just couldn't take it anymore. I've met other people that come in and they report to me that that when they stopped smoking marijuana, that sometimes they had the symptoms for 2 to 3 months. Now some of the literature says that it can go that far. But because it's still kind of the new kid on the block, there's a lot of things that we don't know about it. Like, can it be reversed? Can it be turned around? But again, it's the brain and the body telling you, you don't make the rules, I do. I know, and God knows, how much brain chemistry you need, how much dopamine you need, and He's designed your brain and your body absolutely perfect for you. And when you go in and play some kind of mad scientist and start messing with the chemicals, there's always consequences.